Wow.
Oh.
Wow. That's all I have to start this show off. Good God Almighty. Talk about a game for game one of the NBA Finals. You guys just got finished watching it right here. Thank you for hanging out with us after that climatic, dramatic ending right there. I mean, you can't write a better movie script than that. Welcome to a special edition of Tour de Sports Extra right here on ABC 10. I am Kevin John.
And I'm Matt George. Not only did Tyrese Haliburton break all of the hearts of Oklahoma City Thunder fans, he also broke this show, right? We were so ready to talk about OKC's great game. We have some excellent guests joining us in studio here in just a little bit. And Tyrese Haliburton said, nah, enough of that. Pacers win.
Exactly. He had no regard for our show or the hard work that we're doing, but good. You know what? Let's quit talking about it and let's get straight into it right now. You guys just got finished watching this. Let's head to Oklahoma City. The MVP, Gilgeous-Alexander, and the Thunder facing off against Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers. OKC making their first trip to the finals since 2012, while the Pacers in the finals for the first time since 2000. Now, we've all heard defense wins championships, right? And early on, that Thunder defense was more smothering than gravy on grandma's mashed potatoes. OKC forced 9 turnovers in the first quarter alone. They had forced 19 at the half. That's the most turnovers forced by a team and a half in the finals since 1998. Meanwhile, Gilgeous-Alexander doing what MVPs do. He came out hotter than a crock pot. He had 12 points in the first quarter alone, led all scorers with 19 points at the half. OKC led by 12 at intermission, but then the second half came, and we all know it's a tale of two halves in this. Give credit to the Indiana Pacers. They would go on a 12-2 run in the fourth quarter to get back into this game. And then, as we all saw just a few minutes ago, Tyrese Haliburton hitting the game winner. It happened so quick, we didn't even have time to edit that and put that in the highlight. But you guys saw how it went down. Everybody was screaming about that. And you know what? Since there's so much to break down about this show, let's get straight to it right now. Joining us in the studio, we are blessed, we are thrilled, we are ecstatic to have not only two of the flyest dressed men in all of the Sacramento area. I mean, they are just dripping swag. But you guys know them. You see them or hear them, shall I say, on ESPN 1320. You also hear them on KSFM 102.5. We have Damien, Barley, and Kenny Carraway, also known as D-Lo and KC, joining us here in the building. Guys, thank you so much for joining us after game one of the NBA Finals. What is your first reaction to what we just witnessed?
They did it again. They did it again. Tyrese did it again. The Pacers did it again. This series was about OKC has a tendency to, when they feel like their opponent might be down a little bit, they can step on the gas like no other team in the league. They can step on the gas and put them away. Indiana has the ability, when they're down, to step on the gas and get back in the game. And I can't believe they did it in the fourth quarter the way that they did in those final minutes.
You said it perfectly. We saw the characteristics of both of these teams on display. There was probably 3 to 4 times in that second half when OKC was looking to go on one of their runs and turn a game from a 7-point game to a 27-point game. And the resilience of that Pacers team wouldn't let it happen.
They tried to do it at the end of the first half, and Indiana stopped them. They hit a couple of baskets that slowed everything down and kept it, like a 12-point game at halftime?
You said it when we were watching the game in the back. They hit about 5 of these biggest shots.
Game-saving threes, yeah.
Indiana did. And that was amazing to see. That was one of the best NBA Finals games I've ever seen in my life. I like to think I'm a bit of a finals historian, and that was one of the best games I've ever seen. That was fantastic.
Well, as a historian, you remember NBA championship DVDs, right? The DVDs they make of a championship run. How is this not the making of just an Indiana Pacers destiny run? The entire playoffs that they've had, now game one of the finals. I mean, there's just a spark of destiny about this Pacers team that you can never count them out.
KC, you've been saying that since the Garden.
Yeah, it's something that this team has shown on a consistent basis in a number of different situations. At home, on the road, Eastern Conference Finals, now the NBA Finals. When they're down, it never feels like they're out. And when the chips are down, sorry about that, when the chips are down, they've got a guy in Tyrese Haliburton who can knock down any shot at any time.
Let's be clear, though, when we're talking about a team of destiny, we're also talking about a team that's very good.
Yes.
100%.
We might have been paying attention to the Boston Celtics. We might have been paying attention to the New York Knicks or waiting for the Milwaukee Bucks to come about. This Indiana Pacers team, since the beginning of January, has been one of the best teams in the National Basketball Association, right along there with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I was about to say, yeah, both of these teams have the best record since January. And you talked about Tyrese Haliburton's shot. My producer tells me that we actually got the game-winning shot
this again,
right
man.
here. So, I mean, how many times have we seen Tyrese just do this in the playoffs? New York Knicks fans know what I'm talking about when it comes down to this.
New York Knicks, he did it against Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Milwaukee
I'm
Bucks.
trying to think about it. This is the fourth time?
I think this is
Right,
the
yeah,
fourth
no,
time.
We've got Cleveland.
That's
He
right.
did it to everybody. Giannis,
Yeah.
Cleveland, the Knicks, and now Oklahoma City.
That's
And
right.
what's interesting is he was kind of quiet this game.
Quiet. He was terrible. He was terrible this game. He was not aggressive. They had kind of that Oklahoma City defense is smothering. The Pacers could not score at the basket. He had nothing until it was time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, though. So how are you feeling going into game two then? Because the perspective is OKC can say, hey, we let that one get away. But the Pacers can also look at this and go, we can play way better than we did, and we still got it in your building.
We saw the same thing in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks pretty much dominated that game one. They come back, the Indiana Pacers do. They come back, steal that game. They go into game two saying, oh, let's put our foot on the gas here. Let's get two on the road. And that's how they've got to be looking at this one after 19 first-half turnovers. I think, I can't remember the exact stat that Lloyd Pierce had, but he said something about they gave him another 28 possessions between the turnovers and the offensive rebounds.
Crazy.
They didn't play well. They were able to steal this game.
You can't give OKC extra possessions. You certainly can't give them 28 extra possessions.
Crazy.
Their defense is smothering. You got to find a way to manage that. But if I'm Indiana, I'm feeling good. We talked about the simple math of this. OKC lost 2 games in a row like twice all year. Like the idea of them losing 4 in a span of like 5 was almost unthinkable. Right. They had to get one of these first 2. They got the first one. Now it's like we've got a lot to clean up going into game 2. We can play a lot better, as Casey just said, going into game 2. Oh, yeah, let's take 2. Let's take 2 in OKC.
Yep, 100%.
So, Kev, I'm just curious from your perspective, too. It's like, how does OKC build off of this, right? This is the biggest test that OKC has faced and pretty much will face.
Yeah.
I think how they respond to this will decide if they're going to be an NBA champion.
100%.
Yeah, I was going to say, personally, I don't think OKC is really tripping. And I know that's crazy to say that after this meltdown that just happened there. But that team knows their identity. They know who they are. We've seen who they are. There's a reason they were the best team in the NBA this year. Defensively, they were the best team in the NBA. And offensively, you have the MVP on your team. So I don't think the Thunder are as shaken, but...
Well, Kev, I'll say this, and mind you, this is a different beast than what I'm about to say, but when was the last OKC meltdown we saw? Game 1 against the Nuggets? What happened that next game? That game was over 5 minutes into it. So you never know. But once again, this Pacers team is not that Nuggets team. This Pacers team is for real. They're the real deal. My partner has been saying it all year long. I was a little slower to come around. This team is official. They got a real shot to win a championship. This is no fluke.
That was not a meltdown. That was the Pacers doing what they do. That is the Pacers doing what they did all postseason.
Well, before we get out of here, predictions real quick for the finals, how this is going to end.
I'm going to still stay OKC in 6, but hey, Indiana, like you said, they had to get one of these. They got it. They're going to go out and try and get 2. I promise you that. They're not going to rest on their laurels.
Tyrese is that dude, and this is going to be a hell of a series. That's my prediction.
I love it.
That sounds like a safe way of saying you don't have a prediction, but we will take that. All right. And I think a lot of people agree that Tyrese is that dude. Speaking of that dude, these two are always that dude. We have Kenny Carraway, Damien Barley, D-Lo, and KC. You can listen to them on 1320 and 102.5 KSFM. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us in here. And thank you guys for hanging out with us after the game. Remember, in 30 seconds, your news and weather is coming up on a special edition of ABC 10 News. You guys don't go anywhere. We're right back after this.